In a world where dragons soar through the skies and magic fills the air, one brave boy dares to embark on a journey like no other. Join us as we dive into the epic tale of courage, friendship, and adventure with our fearless hero, his loyal dragon, and a quirky sidekick who'll make you laugh out loud. Get ready to witness the legend unfold, because this is not just a story, it's the flight of a lifetime. Our movie begins with an ancient story about dragons. Dragons lived in peace with humans, but humans gradually began to take control of everything and seize the world. And when the dragons tried to resist them, humans declared war on them. And there was an inventor who created a mechanical dragon named Nateband, specifically to eliminate dragons. But this mechanical dragon, after completing its mission, devoured the inventor himself and began hunting dragons everywhere until they completely disappeared. He returned to live in the castle where he was made, waiting for the day when the dragons would appear again. As the days passed, humanity evolved and forgot that dragons were part of their world. In a distant place, we see a small dragon named Firedrick and his friend, Suriel, enjoying their time while listening to other dragons talking about humans. The leader forbids them from using fire, except in case of danger, and reminds them of the necessity to avoid flying so that humans do not discover their location. In another scene, Firedrake accidentally falls, and he apologizes to his chief father, who expresses his concern about his son's boredom with the monotonous life they lead. Firedrake dreams of becoming an effective dragon like the dragons in the stories told by the old dragon Slybird, but his father tells him that those stories are just fiction and orders him to stay in the valley. Firedrick goes to visit Slybird, who tells him about a place called Sky's Edge, the only place where dragons can live in peace away from humans. Firedrake gets excited about this idea and asks about the location of this place, to which Slybird replies that it is located in a distant mountain range on the other side of the world. And that night, Firedrake tells his friend Suriel about the edge of heaven and suggests that it could be the refuge where they can live in peace. Suriel wishes the place were real so she could live there with her family and all the fairies like her. They hear the sound of an explosion, and when they go to check, they are shocked to see that humans are approaching their valley. The news spreads among the dragons, and a state of fear prevails that humans will discover they are still alive. Sullybird tries to calm them down and reminds them that humans and dragons used to live together in the past, but few dragons believe him, while others think they should fight the humans and prove their strength. The leader insists that the dragons are noble creatures and orders them to hide in the cave until the humans leave. Firedrake suggests to Suriel to search for the edge of the sky, but she refuses, pointing out that no one has ever left the valley before. When she returns home, she finds her family scared and unsure of where to go because humans have taken over the entire planet. At night, while all the dragons are asleep, Firedrick secretly leaves the cave after deciding to search for the edge of the sky. Suriel appears, climbs onto his back, and tells him that she will accompany him on this journey. Firedrake takes off with enthusiasm and spreads its wings to fly for the first time. They are amazed when they reach the city of humans, where Suriel tells him about the oracle called the Internet that might help them find the location of the edge of heaven. So they decide to head there. In the city, we see a small child stealing food from one of the stores, and the store owner runs after him trying to catch him. The child runs away and heads to the screening of How to Train Your Dragon, where he hides among the crowd. But the shop owner informs the police, who start chasing him. In an attempt to escape, the child wears a Viking costume and manages to blend in with the crowd. Firedrake and Suriel arrive at the port. Suriel suggests to Firedrake to search the internet for help, asks him to hide in the nearby warehouse, and then goes alone. Firedrake enters the warehouse to hide and finds a bed on the floor, realizing that someone lives there. He comes across a poster for the movie How to Train Your Dragon and understands that humans and dragons were friends in the past. The child, who was running away from the police, arrives at the same warehouse. He laughs when he sees Firedrick, thinking it's just a costume, but he is astonished when he realizes it's a real dragon. He starts talking to him despite his fear, and when Firedrake asks him about the person in the poster, the child lies and tells him that he is the dragon rider. Firedrake gets excited and asks him to help them reach the edge of the sky. Suriel returns and is surprised to find the child, but she feels worried and warns Firedrake that humans are evil, fearing that this boy might deceive them. While they are arguing, the police arrive at the scene, and the child, who we later learn is named Ben, decides to run away with them. He climbs onto the back of Firedrake, which flies him away. During the flight, Suriel seems annoyed by Ben's presence and believes he is taking advantage of them. And when Ben realizes they are heading to a distant place, he asks Firedrake to drop him on the ground, indicating that they have chosen the wrong person. Firedrake drops him off and leaves. But suddenly, they hear a strange sound and three dwarfs appear in front of them. The dwarves are shocked when they see Fire Drake because they have never seen a silver dragon before. Fire Drake begins to talk with the dwarves, who tell him a legend that says the edge of the sky contains treasures that make silver more valuable than gold. Fire Drake asks them about her whereabouts, and they advise him to follow the sunrise to reach her. While they are talking, Ben hears them and thinks about going back to them in hopes of the treasure. Ben returns to apologize and tells them that he can't leave them alone, which raises Surreal's suspicions, as she believes he is only looking out for his own interests. The two are arguing, while Fire Drake feels fear when he sees a terrifying castle on the horizon. He wonders why she is there. Inside the castle, we see Nate the Band, the mechanical dragon slayer, who is feeling bored. His assistant, Twitchleg, arrives and suggests using the internet for entertainment, but suddenly the escaped dwarf arrives to tell Nate Band that he saw a silver dragon on the mountain. Net the Band feels excited and prepares to chase them, eager to devour a new dragon. Fire Drake senses an approaching danger. He quickly warns Surreal and Ben, then carries them and flies away at his maximum speed. Neatle Brand arrives at the same place and sees Fire Drake and his friends running away. He feels angry because he doesn't have wings to catch up with them, so he orders his assistant Twitchleg to use the raven to track them and find out their destination. The dragons in the valley are feeling anxious, especially the leader, due to the absence of Surreal and Fire Drake. While Fire Drake and his companions are flying towards the sunrise to reach the edge of the sky, they suddenly encounter a violent sandstorm, causing Fire Drake to lose control and faint, falling into the desert. After the storm ends, Ben and Surreal regain consciousness and are astonished when they find themselves in an ancient archaeological site. They start searching for Fire Drake and find him unconscious. While they are trying to wake him up, a huge monster suddenly appears and they quickly hide. Ben manages to wake up Fire Drake and asks him to attack the monster with fire, but Fire Drake fails to breathe fire. The monster attacks them and grabs Ben, throwing him away. Before it can finish off Surreal, it is distracted by her scolding and throws her to the ground. It seems that the monster is about to attack them, but suddenly an explorer appears, using a mirror to blind the monster and force it to retreat, reassuring Fire Drake and his companions. The explorer, who is amazed to see a silver dragon for the first time, explains to them that the beast is in a temporary frenzy and will return to its normal state within a week. But Ben mocks Fire Drake for his inability to shoot, which makes Fire Drake feel ashamed. He walks away and Ben follows him to apologize. He sits next to him and asks him why he can't breathe fire, and Fire Drake tells him that he was mocked by the other dragons for this reason, and he feels like he is not a real dragon. He asks Ben to give him another chance to help them reach the edge of heaven, as it is the only place where they can live in peace. The explorer and Surreal join them and invite them to their camp. Twitch League follows them in disguise to observe them. Upon arriving at the camp, they sit with the explorer, who begins to talk to them about their journey. When he learns they are searching for the edge of the sky, he is amazed and tells them that he manages a sanctuary with his wife and daughter to protect rare creatures. He reveals to them a person who knows the location of the edge of heaven, which is the magical djinn, and shows them its location on the map. The explorer warns them that the road is fraught with dangers, including the giant sea serpent, the massive giant, and the stone bird that guards the mountains. Twitchleg, who was hiding, hears all the details of their conversation. The explorer asks Fire Drake and his companions to rest because they have a tough journey ahead the next day. As they prepare for sleep, the explorer notices the newspaper that Ben is holding and discovers that his parents died in an accident, which explains why Ben has been living alone all this time. Twitchleg contacts Neatle Brand to inform him that Fire Drake and his companions are heading to meet the magical djinn to find out the location of the edge of the sky. Neatle Brand panics and tells him that the magical genie might kill them if they are not careful. He asks him to follow the dragons and stay with them to spy on them, and quickly hangs up the call. Neatle Brand takes the dwarf to his advanced submarine that can travel anywhere, and they set off in it to chase the dragons. The next morning, the explorer asks Ben to help him transport an injured bird to his private sanctuary. During the conversation, he hands him the newspaper he was carrying and suggests joining the reserve if he's looking for a place to settle down. Twitch League is hiding inside Ben's bag without anyone knowing. After bidding farewell to the explorer, Fire Drake, Surreal, and Ben set off to continue their journey. They encounter the massive giant on their way, but he fails to catch them, and they also avoid the attacks of the giant sea serpent. They pass through many dangerous places and face various risks until they decide to take a break. A giant bird appears and kidnaps Surreal. Fire Drake rushes at full speed to save her, and at the last moment his eyes light up with an astonishing blue fire, allowing him to attack the bird, forcing it to release Suriel. Everyone is astonished by the new power of Fire Drake, and they continue their journey towards the magical place of the Jinn. When they arrive at the site, they discover an old car, and as soon as Ben honks the horn, a giant genie appears. The genie tells them that he can answer any question, but if the question is repeated, he will kill the asker using the laser beams that shoot from his eyes. Ben comes up with a clever idea and asks him about the place where there is no edge of the sky. The Jinn are surprised by the question and tell them that she is nowhere to be found except in one location. Ben takes advantage of this moment to ask the Jinn to come closer, and when he looks into his eyes, he discovers the true location of the edge of the sky. But when Suriel asks the genie how to get out of the place, the genie gets angry because he has been asked this question before, and he starts attacking them with laser beams. Fire Drake tries to defend them by shooting, but he fails. And before the Jinn can kill them, Natal Brand intervenes and strikes the Jinn. But the Jinn retaliates with its attack, yet Natal Brand shows immunity against the laser beams and continues to strike the Jinn until Fire Drake can rescue Suriel and Ben. The three flee at full speed, while Ben is still confused by everything that happened. The dragons in the valley are feeling anxious, and one of them believes that humans have kidnapped Fire Drake and Suriel. He tries to convince the leader of the necessity to fight the humans, and the leader agrees to start the attack. On their long journey, Fire Drake and his companions arrive in India, where they are warmly welcomed. The village wise woman, who is amazed by their sight, takes them to an ancient temple. She asks them why they are there, and Fire Drake tells her that they are looking for the edge of the sky. The wise woman tells them that no one knows the location of the edge of the sky, because it is protected by powerful magic. But there is one person who rode a dragon and reached there. The wise woman reveals to them that Natal Brand tracked this person all the way to the edge of heaven and stole the magical key that protects her. As the legend tells them, the edge of the sky will not appear until silver becomes more valuable than gold, making Fire Drake realize that their journey is not yet over and that they must face greater challenges to reach their goal. As soon as Ben opens the bag, Tweedleg quickly tries to escape, but Suriel catches him and interrogates him. Tweedleg admits that he works for Natal Brand and reveals everything. He begs them not to kill him, promising that he will help them in exchange for his life. By chance, Natal Brand calls him during their interrogation, and they agree with him not to reveal their location in exchange for staying alive. Tweedleg starts the call with Natal Brand and tells him that the dragons and their companions are on their way to the North Pole, but he accidentally drops the phone, allowing Natal Brand to see their surroundings and realize that they are in India. Everyone is in shock and realizes that their plan has been exposed. Fire Drake asks Ben about the location he saw in the eyes of the Jinn, but Ben suffers from memory loss and remembers nothing. The wise woman decided to help him by performing strange rituals to restore his memories. After the ritual, Ben regains his memory and remembers that the place where he saw the edge of the sky is located in the Himalayas. Fire Drake and his companions, including Twitchleg, head towards the Himalayas and continue flying until they reach the summit of a specific mountain. At this point, Ben begins to guide them on the right path. We see Natal Brand, having left his submarine, heading towards the same mountain, determined to catch up with them. Fire Drake and his friends enter an opening inside the mountain. Ben points them to the path they should take. Natal Brand appears behind them and chases them relentlessly. They are trying to escape through the tunnels, but Natal Brand manages to catch up with them and breaks the ice beneath them. Fire Drake and his companions manage to escape, while Natal Brand falls into a gap and gets lost from them. They reach a massive closed entrance, and everyone rejoices, believing they have finally arrived at the edge of heaven. They open the door with enthusiasm, but they are shocked when they discover that the place is completely abandoned, and there are no signs of the edge of heaven. Fire Drake asks Ben how to proceed, but Ben feels despair and tells them that this is the sight he saw in the Jinn's vision, which means that the edge of heaven is nothing but a myth. Fire Drake and Suriel feel frustrated and angry as they realize they risked their lives for an imaginary place. Ben feels a sense of guilt and tells them that the edge of the sky might just be an old tale. He suggests they leave and return from where they came, then walks away, engulfed in his sorrow and frustration over the wasted journey. When Natal Brand emerges from under the ice, everyone notices that the rust has melted and turned into gold. While Ben listens to his voice, he quickly hides. But when Natal Brand moves away, a piece of gold falls from him. So Ben goes to take it and remembers the legend he had heard before. We return to Fire Drake and Suriel, where they feel frustrated after discovering that there is no edge of the sky. Needlebrand appears again and moves a stone to ignite a fire around them. But Fire Drake is not afraid of him and uses his abilities to try to escape. Needlebrand chases him relentlessly until Ben comes up with an idea that might help them. He remembers the legend that says silver will become more valuable than gold, and he feels that he can defeat Needlebrand. Needlebrand continues to mock and ridicule, especially Fire Drake because he can't shoot. Before Needlebrand can kill Ben, Fire Drake's rage ignites, and his eyes light up with blue flames. He starts attacking Needlebrand with all his might, continuing to strike him with blue flames until Needlebrand completely melts away. Surreal sees a key among the pieces of gold, pounces on it, and places it in its designated spot. The dragon statue begins to move and opens a secret entrance leading to the edge of heaven. Upon entering, they find the place incredibly beautiful, with dragons living there. They are particularly amazed when they see the moon appearing beautifully. Then, Ben tells Fire Drake that he will live with the explorer and his family in this remote place and forget his past, and he will take Twigleg with him. Fire Drake heads to take the dragons with him. The dragons have decided to fight the humans, unleashing massive flames in preparation for war. Fire Drake arrives and stops them, reassuring them, explaining that the edge of the sky actually exists. He shows them that not all humans are evil, and asks them to accompany him on his journey to tell them everything. All the dragons fly towards the edge of the sky to live there, while humans are mesmerized by watching them in the sky. In the end, Ben lives with the explorer and his family, waving to them from afar, marking the beginning of a new chapter in his life. This is the end. See you soon. Bye.